It's so good to see some familiar faces, some new faces. Oh my gosh, thanks for coming back. This is truly, when I think of the scope of my work and all the groups I speak to and all the things I do, there is just something so special that happens here and so different from my other experiences. So I just want to honor all of you for being part of that. The energy in this room is always just so loving. I always leave just feeling like I got the biggest hug. So thank you. That's all of you doing that. So because we've done this for 4 or 5 years, I keep thinking, have we covered everything? Are we out of material yet? And it just keeps coming. So a project that has been on my heart for a long time, and now that I'm an empty nester and I'm up and dressed and we're doing well, guys. We're doing well. I can talk without crying. We're doing well. And actually, there's some freedom. Right? It's kind of, I know, it might be fun. So I'll keep you posted on that. But we're 2 weeks in. Lauren's thriving in New York City. She's going to the university, or Long Island University, to study acting and theater. So she is in her element. Her class, 3 days a week, she takes the subway to Broadway and works in a studio with other Tony Award winners. And so she is happy, which helps a mama. And then so that's Manhattan, New York. My other son's in Manhattan, Kansas. Or my son and my daughter we have the 2 Manhattans represented. But we're doing well. Everyone's off to a good start. So a project that has been on my mind for years, since I was in seminary, is looking at the intersection of the most loving teachings from world religions. And it's been something I dabble in on the side and research and get excited about, and then something comes up and I haven't been able to spend time on it. So I thought this year we would explore it together. And that will hold me accountable for doing the research and the writing. And my hope is that it introduces you to some really cool things that just we never talk about and we never get to explore, or we're not sure where to start if we have a question and what source we should go to for information. And so I just want to kind of help us all figure this out on the journey, with the intent that we see the places we're so united as humans on this planet, and we learn from ancient voices. I think we get arrogant sometimes in 2025 that we are the latest and greatest. And what I've found in ancient scrolls and scripts and ceremonies and rituals is there's so much ancient wisdom that would help us be human in 2025. We just don't know about it, or we haven't been exposed to it. So my goal is to expose us all. I'm learning with you. So usually what I talk about, I feel like I have a lot of life experience in or a lot of studying in. This one, you're getting hot off the press. So some of your questions I won't be able to answer, but I will note them and I will follow up with you and we'll learn together. Each religion that you see here, they are in chronological order of kind of when they were founded. And I'll weave Christianity in here too. But this is kind of where we're headed. And I wanted to tell you about religions that may be either misunderstood often, or we just don't even know about. Somebody said, what's Jainism this morning? It's a beautiful faith that I was introduced because one of Lauren's friends grew up in the Jainism faith, and I knew nothing about it, but she was at our house when she was like 5, and there was a spider, and she got a little piece of paper and took the spider outside, and she said, in Jainism, we kill nothing. And I was like, well, then we won't either. And so the fruit flies get to coexist. I'm still finding a happy medium there. But Jainism has this beautiful faith that I didn't know about until she started teaching me, and our kids grew up together. And so I just want to share some of this stuff that has helped me deepen my Christianity. It's helped me understand what Jesus was teaching in so many ways that I think we miss the point sometimes in our current interpretations. So today we're doing Native American theology, and this would be the theology of indigenous people in our country. Canada, Mexico, all of North America, but the U.S., and then also Central America. So And Native American theology, I took a semester of and would probably say it was my favorite class in seminary. So when I looked at how to organize this year, I just did the date. I put them, like, when were they all kind of coming on the radar? And Native American theology was first, and that just felt so grounded and rooted and a good place to start. But I want to start with just a little historical context of what we're talking about in a time frame, kind of. So Indigenous people were here eons before we even started counting. But in 1492, remember the song about Christopher Columbus? That's when colonization began in the US and Canada and Central America. And so the intent of exploring the world was beautiful, except it, like humans do, it became a takeover kind of situation. So within 300 to 400 years, Native Americans had all been displaced and were put in reservations or killed or had pandemics because the Europeans were bringing over new disease, or they brought over fruit that had animals or snakes or other things in it that then killed the animals that Native Americans were living off of. So we have this whole like kind of tumultuous time from 1492 really until the late 1800s. All Native Americans had been displaced or in a reservation. And with this kind of, they are barbaric, we need to civilize them. If you've been to Phoenix, there is a Native American museum that is so incredibly powerful. I cried my way through it because they have the children of voices in the boarding schools, that their hair was shaved, their names were changed, they were not allowed to speak their native tongue anymore. And so it was super eye-opening to me. So if you're in Phoenix, seek that out. But just to give a flyover of what was happening. So Columbus settled, then Spanish explorers kind of settled in Mexico, Caribbean, Central America, South America in the 1500s. Then the French came into Canada. That's why we have Quebec. And then North Carolina, Jamestown, Virginia, that kind of area got taken over in the 1600s. The Pilgrims came in 1620. We tell that story like it was so beautiful. It was really awful, right? It was interesting going back because we talked today about revisionist history and then changing the narrative, and it's hard to find original sourcing now because even the stuff about Native Americans has been written through the voice of a colonizing Christian, and it's pretty judgy. And so I'm going to send out in an email after this, I'm going to give you some authors to follow that have really impacted my learning on this. But it's hard to find the original source on a lot of this stuff without an editorial that they were wrong, right? So I'm going to try to give you the beautiful things that we don't hear about. So then New York was 1625, settled by the Dutch, called New Netherlands. It's so interesting because when you look, all of these lands were New something Europe, New France, New Netherlands, and let's see, the French settled in Louisiana and Mississippi. New England, right? It's like, this is the new of that, which is kind of arrogant, right? No, this was here long before you came. But these are just good things to remember, to just check in with like, oh gosh, there's another way to see this or tell this, and I've been a little blind to it. Then the Spanish went to Arizona, New Mexico, California. It's really interesting when you think about the architecture influence, the religions in these areas. It's because of those first explorers that were settling there or taking over there, depending on the way you want to tell it. But then literal wars started. So there was the French Indian War in the 1700s. There was the Trail of Tears in 1830, which was the Indian Removal Act. That was a law by name, the Indian Removal Act. So the military came in, arrested people, overthrew them, and by the late 1800s, all of the tribes had been either relocated or taken over or killed. A lot of those stories were genocide kind of stories. And Diane was saying earlier, what's the show you're watching? What's it called?
Dark Winds.
Dark Winds, okay. So, and it's interesting because even the telling we have of history, oftentimes they're weird, or that was witchcraft, or that was scary. So I think we all have to check in and filter through, what if it's not scary? What if it's beautiful? Just to tease your brain out of a quick judgment. But I'm going to share today some life lessons from Native American theology or spirituality, some God lessons, what they teach us about, what they were teaching about God, what they were teaching about compassion. I've got a couple quotes I want to discuss with you of like, what do you see in this? And then we'll end with, how does this deepen my own faith? What could I take from here and add into my faith, or ponder a little deeper, or appreciate a little more? So that's kind of where we're headed today. So for life lessons, there's so many that trying to condense it into an hour is a tough exercise for me, who wants to give you everything. But these are kind of the four that really have stuck with me from Native American religion or spirituality. So the first one is the cycle of life, which, if you've seen The Lion King, and there's so many stories on the cycle of life. But the interesting thing from Native American theology is this beautiful piece of the cycle of life, that death feeds new life, and that we come from the earth and we return to the earth. And it's a lot less about heaven. We'll talk about kind of what's in the sky, but it's more about, we come from here, we take care of this while we're here, and then we return to it. And then we come back. And we might come back in a spiritual form, we might come back in just fertilizing the grass, we might come back as an eagle. There's some beautiful stuff. It would never be called reincarnation, because that wouldn't have been the word. But the cycle of life, the recycling of life. And I think as Christians, we get super hung up on death. Sometimes we fear death, we're weirded out by it. We have all these, like, what happens in heaven? Is it puppies and rainbows, or is there even a hell? Like, we talk a lot about that in Christian theology. And it doesn't have to be that complicated. A lot of these faiths that you'll study this year, I think you're going to find there's a beautiful simplicity in it, and that we have overcomplicated it. And if we go back to some of the basics, it's really beautiful stuff. And it really helps us be human today with a whole lot less fear. Because our brains, that ego, wants to solve all the puzzles. What if we don't have to solve puzzles?
Where's everybody go?
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Hung up on that.
Yeah, exactly. Where's everyone go? We don't have to know. It's going to be okay. So that is the feeling of Native American faith. A couple things. I forgot to put these in my slides, so I'm going to pass them around. So this is an image we've all seen. It's called by name, this part of it, the medicine wheel. I'll just pass all these around so you can be looking at it. So the medicine wheel is part of the cycle of life. But what it represents is its direction. So the number 4 is super foundational in Native American theology. 4 seasons, 4 directions, earth, wind, fire, air. There's a lot of 4s, whereas like in Christianity we have 3s oftentimes, right? The Trinity. So 4 is kind of a sacred pattern. But the East, yellow, the color yellow, represents birth, childhood, spring, sunrise, new beginnings. The South, red, represents youth, passion, summer, growth, vitality. So you can see a cycle of life, you can see a cycle of seasons. The West, black, adulthood, which is funny that's black. It's a lot of that. Responsibility. Autumn, introspection, harvest. And the North is white. Elderhood, wisdom, winter, rest, preparation for rebirth. So yeah, I mean, just some beautiful, I'm flying over this. There's so much more there, and you can Google all of these things. If there's something you're intrigued with, just start a search on this stuff. But if you look up the medicine wheel, you can read more about all of this. But the symbolism of the quadrants and the seasons and the cycles of life, it's so peace-giving. And it's peace-giving because it's thousands and thousands of years of humans trying to make sense of being human, right? And we think we've got to figure it out in the next 20 years. We don't. It's all going to be okay. There's cycles. We're here and then we're not. And so the seasons, I thought it was interesting that we're in fall right now. So that would be kind of this west black autumn theme. The beautiful thing too in Native American theology is there's always a new beginning. It's always coming again, which, you know, I'm a Taylor Swift fan, and she talked about numerology on the podcast of the century that I've listened to every word of a couple times. But she talked about numerology and why 13 and 87 and all this stuff is so important to her. The cool thing with numerology yesterday is it was a 999 date. So it was September 9th, 9/9, and 2025, if you take each number and add them up, is a 9. So in numerology, which goes back to Native Americans didn't have the same numerical system that we have, but there's a lot of symbolism in kind of patterns of the stars and the planets and astrology, which is where numerology comes from. 9 represents completion of something. And so yesterday, the thought is and we're in a lunar eclipse season right now too, with the full moon. So we have just completed a big cycle of being human. And this is a time, like today marks a new beginning, which I just think is really apropos for what we're talking about today. And also in our own lives, how would that apply to me? If yesterday could have been the completion of some things, what do I want to leave behind? What do I want to end? What am I leaving in this old pattern of being? And what am I ushering in the new, in this cycle of life? So kind of cool stuff. Here was a line I really loved. Birth is the breath entering. Death is the breath returning. That was a Lakota line that just stuck with me. Breath is divine. It comes, moves through, and returns to the Creator. Let's see. Harmony with creation. One more thing on this, on the cycle of life. Death is not termination, but a return to the earth, to spirit, to our ancestors. And the 4-day journey after death, and the Lakotas have a lot about death in their journals. There's a 4-day journey, and I love this word, called the Spirit Road. Oh. Isn't that beautiful? I'm now going to add that into my spirituality, that the first 4 days of our death, we're traveling a spirit road. And it's a returning to where we came from. Okay, harmony with creation. If anything you take away today, it would be, I think, the Native Americans wanting us to appreciate the earth and the land and harmony with it, living in harmony. So harmony would be one of the goals of being human in Native American theology. Keep everything in balance. If you take something, give it back. If you hurt somebody, fix it. A lot of harmony, which was really beautiful as I was preparing this stuff of just like seeking harmony was kind of top of mind the last few days for me. And I was like, that's a really new awareness that I love of like, am I in harmony? Is my family? Am I helping people be in harmony, or am I stealing harmony from people? So I offer you that as something to think about. So the Dakota tribe has this phrase, all are my relatives. And in that is included animals, plants, waters, wind, and stars. All are my relatives. How beautiful is that? Yeah, feel that harmony. The Navajo have a word, hosho, which is balance, beauty, harmony, and right relationship. And it's right relationship with your community, right relationship with your family, right relationship with your thoughts and your actions. Hozo represents peace within you because you've sought peace with others. Yeah, Laura.
How do you spell that?
H-O-Z-H-O.
H-O-Z-H-O.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful teaching on peace and harmony. So there was this, we know that Native Americans lived off the land, so they're hunters, gatherers. There was always a giving back. So you've probably heard growing up that because we're in the plains, if they killed a buffalo, they used every ounce of the buffalo, right? And that was a beautiful honoring of the buffalo. It wasn't just take the good steaks and throw the rest away, like we tend to do today, or be like, oh, that's gross, right? We are so not in harmony with the food we eat and the way we care for the food we eat. And so if you're interested in harmony with food, you could look up a lot of beautiful things with this. And then they believe your digestion system is calm if you're in harmony with your food. And if your relationship is, so being thankful for, if you're a meat eater, being thankful for that animal's life and what it's given to you will improve your digestion. I mean, some of this stuff is just so interesting and beautiful and food for thought. So, what? Literally, I know. I was like, do I note that, or did you all get it? Okay. Thank you, Laura. So suffering is caused from an imbalance. So suffering is caused from an imbalance. So it could be an imbalance in our personal lives, in our bodies. Disease state is an imbalance, a dis-ease. Suffering is caused oftentimes from greed. Right? That says so much, and we can apply that in so many. Suffering often is caused from greed. Our suffering might have been caused from greed. Isn't that interesting? Because when you ponder our egos, and I want more, and it's all about me, and I want to be right, that actually creates suffering in my relationships and in me. I'm not in harmony and peace when I get in that mode. So just thinking about greed creating suffering, that one stuck with me. I'm sharing the stuff that really stuck with me that might stick with you too. While reciprocity leads to abundance. You're rewarded for reciprocity, right? So kindness in the community is always kind of, we'll talk about that when we get to the compassion teachings. The earth is our teacher. Every animal, plant, and person carries a lesson for us. Yeah, so beautiful. Every animal, plant, and person carries a lesson for us. To live in harmony means to pay attention to the weather, to the stars, to your dreams, to migration patterns, to cycles of growth. Listen, pay attention. Okay, this one is cool. So there is this teaching of every decision you make, you should consider the impact on the next 7 generations. Oh my God. That's kind of the opposite of all about me. So every decision you make, you should consider the impact on the next 7 generations. How many of us are doing that on a daily basis? So that one, I was just like, what is that even? Okay, so my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, I ran out of even words for it. So I think it's just a good thing to just consider the impact I'm making, right? I think we seldom, our society just feeds us so much egoic stuff, and it's all about me, and I need that wrinkle cream, and right? And I'm not thinking about 7 generations.
Give us an example, because I'm kind of stymied.
Yeah, so the earth is usually the teachings, caring for the earth. So I'm going to get to actually, let's go right to this. Okay, so fire drives. This is perfect, Patty. Your question's a perfect segue. So fire drives is the Native American word for it. We all live in Kansas and Missouri, and we know about pasture burning in the Flint Hills, right? And sometimes it smokes over the highways and it makes the Kansas City news. Those are called controlled burns today. And some of you might know, I grew up summers and weekends in the Flint Hills. My parents are both from there. So I actively burn pastures every April. It's like this ritual of our family, and it's caring for the land. And the concept of it, and so then when we see things like California fires, we understand why it's necessary. There's environmental things to consider and all of this. What Native Americans believed is that we would burn the old to invite in the new. And fire drives are oftentimes in the fall during a buffalo harvest, because in Kansas, we do it in the spring here because we want cattle grazing in the summer. So you want the new grass in the summer. Native Americans often did it in the fall because they needed meat to store up for the coming winter. So they would burn the grassland. The new grass would grow within 2 weeks. I've seen it. It's literally within 2 weeks, it's lime green after it's black. And the buffalo love the new grass. So then it made hunting much easier to store up and have clothing, have hides, and they used muscle fibers for thread, and so they were preparing for the winter. And the bones, yeah. So Patty, an example of this for the next 7 generations would be, what is the best thing for the land for the next 7 generations? So let's just take California, not to have an opinion on it, but if we were thinking about 7 generations and not just my house with the good view of the ocean, that might have had a different story in it, right? So are we thinking about what I want today? I want to live right here and look at that view. Or am I thinking about what's the best thing for the land for the next 7 generations? No right or wrong. We are living in a reality of 2025 where we're going to make the decisions we make. I just think it's really interesting to ponder some of this stuff and raise our consciousness on it. So, environmental decisions, is this good for those that come after me? Our political decisions, is this good for those that come after me? Am I thinking about me today, or am I thinking about future generations? That's kind of the concept of it. So I'll pass around, this is an actual picture I took of a pasture burning. But the idea is that you're burning this old weedy dry grass that didn't get grazed over the winter so that new grass will come into this. But if you drive through the Flint Hills in the spring, it will be black if you depending on how you time it. You never can predict it because it depends on the wind and the rain and water being available from a fire truck and all the things. But you might time it, right, and see it. And just know it originated in Native Americans. And people that live on the land, like farmers and ranchers, they still very much practice these practices, which is really beautiful. They're just more in tune with the land than we are. Yeah. Anyone have experience with that? Yeah, Kim?
Ginger, I have a great story to share.
Okay.
So we just returned from Croatia, and we were on a tiny, very rocky, sloped island that we went up into the hills to a tiny family, over the centuries owned winery. And all the structures there are stone. And the gentleman who was hosting us for tasting wine and dinner shared a story about the planting of cypress trees, because you cannot make a roof with rocks. All of the structures are rocks. So the story goes is that whenever anybody wanted to get married and they went to the registrar to get their marriage license, they had to show that they were planting 20 cypress trees for the future generations.
That's cool.
That's a perfect example.
Isn't that a great story?
Oh my gosh, and it's built into the law and the process, and that's a perfect example.
Because obviously that no one's going to realize the use of those trees for generations.
Exactly. Right. We're not going to see that tree that we.
I thought it was a beautiful
That's perfect, Kim. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, that's so beautiful. And Patty, that would be a perfect example of considering 7 generations. Yeah. Thank you.
I was thinking more personal as consumerism.
Well,
that's what I mean.
I know.
I mean, I totally think
Yes.
it's beautiful, and I
Yeah.
know people that do similar
Yeah.
things. But I was just thinking, God, if I have to start thinking about
I-
it,
And it's not our reality. Yes.
Actually thinking back 7 generations.
Yes. That's part of it too.
What did they do
yeah,
to
For
help us be
Yeah.
Yep.
who we are today?
Yep.
And did it turn out well, or have we squandered it?
Exactly. That's a beautiful thing to ponder. Beautiful. Yep. Exactly. Beautiful.
I'm thinking about the ways that we teach our children, and we've been taught to how we treat each other.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it's really basic and it's really important.
Yep. Yep. And appreciating the generations. So appreciating our ancestors, and also not thinking kids today are going off the rails and we're ruined, right? But appreciating them. Right. No. This is beautiful, and how do I help you? Yeah, that's a very different stance, right? You're beautiful, and how do I help you? Yeah, beautiful, Susan. One of my very favorite things that I learned in my Native American theology class, and my professor was Stephen Charles. He is this beautiful author. I have some quotes of his coming up on a slide, but this blew me away because I'd never heard it before. The idea of two-spirited people. So a two-spirit would be somebody today that we label as LGBTQ, or trans, or gay. A two-spirited person is a human with male and female qualities, and they are revered. They are the wisest in the tribe because they understand every human.
You had that at that time?
Yep. Yeah, in 2013. Yeah, he taught me this. And we were all, Christians thinking we had it all figured out, blown away. Of like what a beautiful teaching and how different the world would be had we stayed there. Had we stayed there, yes, Patty.
I just have to say that I think that the gay people I know are the most authentic
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
Exactly.
Best to be around.
They
because
are.
They just seem to be, they get it. They are comfortable,
Yep.
with.
They know who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had to be
There's no trying
brave.
to fit into any kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
They're
it's
the
always
bravest
us.
people on the
Yeah,
planet,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Because they're persecuted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to come out. It's hard to be you
Oh, yeah.
and speak your truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the world today. So in Native American faith, this is a common internet image when you Google two-spirit. There's a couple out there that always come up. So I'll just pass this around. Just look at the beauty of these humans and just take in the appreciation for them as you look at this picture. But a two-spirited person was often an elder, the wisest in the tribe, because of what Patty's saying. They had all the answers. They had such wisdom that others could not access. They were gifted with this perspective and wisdom. And so I think that's one of my favorite takeaways from Native American teachings is how wrong we've gone on this teaching in Christianity. So wrong. And what a beautiful invitation to go back to the idea of two-spirited and just to consider what Patty's speaking to. What if that's the best model of a human?
I think HSPs.
Yes, and highly sensitive people. That's right. Perfect. Yep. Highly sensitive people. What if they have the wisdom and the answers?
And in other cultures,
They are revered.
celebrated and revered. And
Exactly.
in ours, they're considered weak and
Exactly.
ugly, and it's like, whoa.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
Does today's Native American community still hold to that?
You know what's interesting, Susan, with today? There was such a brainwashing that was happening from the colonization that some of them began to judge it instead of thinking it was revered. I mean, it was so fed to them and beaten into them. If you saw Yellowstone, or was it Yellow? No, it was one of the 19, yeah, that one. I had to stop watching. Yep. So they were literally like beating these kinds of things out of people. So it was changing their brains. So there is some judgment now. I'm going to share some books of Christians writing on studying Native American theology, and you can still see some judgment in their writings of even a Native American voice. Becoming a good Christian meant that they started judging that. But we can be the ripple effect that spreads the word of the two-spirited. We can start speaking to it. Yeah, it's really beautiful to flip your thinking on that one.
But Ginger, will you flesh out just a little bit about being two-spirited? We're not just talking about sexual preferences here.
No.
We're talking about the equipping
Yep.
of our soul.
That's right.
Of our spirit, of our
Yes.
personality.
Yes, and that you would be able to understand both spirits, a male and a female. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Often nothing about sexuality, like sex with another human, nothing about that. It was the reverence of the soul and the wisdom that soul had. Yeah, thank you, Pam. Okay, let's move to, gosh, this is Good. Okay. So God lessons. The creator and the sustainer is the God figure. And the names for God, I'll just read some of them that I thought were cool. There's every tribe, not every tribe had a different one, but there's a huge variety. I mean, here's my tribe list. Like you can just see, yeah, that's not even all of the tribes. I think there's estimated to be about 500 original indigenous tribes in the Americas in all the land. But here's some words for God. Great mystery, great sacred, great spirit, creator, the one who is, the supreme life-giving power, spirit of the universe. I know, aren't these beautiful? The breath maker, maker of all things, transformer. And then this one, it just kept sticking with me. The giver of movement, the giver of movement. So then that scripture, I live and breathe and move, I'm probably saying it in the wrong order, but in him what is it, guys? Come on, seminary brain is have my being. Live and move and have my being. There we go. So in him I move, the giver of movement. So cool. I mean, it's kind of cool to just see the crossover of all these things that humans were trying to name and understand. And culturally, we all did it a little bit differently, but actually, there's a lot of similarities. Right? The human brain is very similar. And we were all trying to figure out the same things and give it a name. So God is creator and sustainer, source of life, no question, creator of everything. You see that throughout Native American ceremonies and rituals. Almost every ceremony that I could find starts with thanksgiving, starts with a prayer of thank you to the Creator. So harvest, death ceremonies, birth ceremonies, tribal dances. I just did a quick search, and almost all of them start with thank you, Creator. So maybe we all start our day that way. So life is a gift. Every sunrise is a reminder of God's ongoing creative presence. To harm the earth is to wound the body of God.
Say that one.
To harm the earth is to wound the body of God. Yeah. Living in relationship with God, it wasn't, we go to church and study God, try to interpret and understand God, try to get it right. That wasn't very much like Christian mystics. They were doing the opposite, right? Just experience God. Stop trying to figure it all out. So the Native Americans weren't trying to figure out anything. They were just experiencing God and in gratitude. And prayer was often in a drought. Last time it rained from the sky, so I'm going to look up at the sky and ask for rain. Right? It was a very practical kind of theology. It wasn't like God lives up there and I'm talking to God. So just stuff to ponder. Elders, storytellers, medicine people, their teachings were often about experiencing God rather than defining God. Yeah. And that would heal you. Just experience God. Disharmony, back to harmony, greed and disrespect moves people away from the Great Spirit. I liked this one. So this is coming from a more modern Native American voice. Scripture is not only written in books, but in the land, sky, and in the creatures.
That's nice.
Isn't that nice? So Scripture is not only written in books, but in the land, sky, and creatures. One of the biggest things about God is everything's communal. It's not they're right and I'm wrong, I'm right and they're wrong. It's not individual. It's not me punching my ticket to get to heaven. There's none of that salvation junk. There's none of that stuff. It is as a community, God is providing for us, and we are reverent of that, and we are helping each other be human. So no individualism, lots community teachings, generosity. Callings. This was I'd kind of forgotten this until I looked it all back up. So a vision quest was the intention of going deep into meditation. Sometimes peyote helped you get there. But to have visions, open the portal to God was the idea of a vision quest. The intent often in vision quests was, show me why I'm here, what I'm supposed to do for you. Yeah. So that's really beautiful. They did believe, so then I went down a rabbit hole on that one. And there is a lot of teaching of, I have like a divine assignment. And our community has a divine assignment. Our tribe has a divine assignment. And the vision quest would often come when I feel lost and I don't know what my assignment is. And I need to go open to you, God, and remind me of what that is. So I think we all could relate to that one too. And then living that purpose, once you kind of see your calling, living into that is the way you honor God. Yeah. Compassion lessons. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time already. So this idea of compassion being kind of a responsibility of returning to harmony. So the compassionate act became what would restore us to harmony as a community, as a family, as a tribe. So oftentimes compassion in ancient literature, and that's why I have this as a whole section, just because I think it's so good for us all to be aware of, was not about kindness necessarily. It was about care and respect and alleviating suffering. That's really, so compassion, the word from Latin, means with suffering. So I'm with you in suffering. Suffering, the suffering of Christ, the passion of Christ, sorry. The passion of Christ is where that word comes from, the suffering of Christ. Calm is with. So I'm with you in your suffering. So that is oftentimes the ancient use of the word compassion, not, random acts of kindness or doing something kind for somebody else. It's deeper than that. It's alleviating suffering. Let's see. The way we become most compassionate is to be silent and listen. Wow. Yeah. The way we become most compassionate is to be silent and listen. Give full attention without rushing to fix or judge, allowing another spirit to be honored. Yeah. Withholding resources is harmful and a lack of compassion. That's that greed theme. There's a lot on that. And then, the 7 generations, this is that future piece, but there's also a teaching with the 7 generations. Part of that teaching is called the 7 grandfathers. And the 7 grandfathers are love, respect, bravery, truth, honesty, humility, and wisdom. I'll read them again. Yeah, this would be your values list. Love, respect, bravery. Okay, sorry. Love, respect, bravery, truth, honesty. I'll differentiate those in a minute. Humility, and wisdom.
Fruits of the Spirit.
Yes.
That's exactly what.
Excellent. That's their version of fruits of the Spirit. That's right.
Ginger, I
Yes.
feel like that was because the Native Americans held so steadfast to these principles. I feel like that was their demise.
Yes.
Because the colonizers came with the idea of manifest destiny, doctrine
Yes.
of discovery.
Yes.
And they were not going to win. at that
Exactly.
point. So,
Exactly, Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I know. And it's so hard to hang on to the idea that love wins
Yeah, it didn't.
when it doesn't. Exactly. But it lives on. It lives on. It lives on in you all right now. Maybe it is winning. It just doesn't seem like it. Yeah. Yeah.
And like you talk about fear,
Yeah.
they didn't understand the Native Americans,
That's right.
so
It was fear.
Yeah.
You're so right, Jennifer. So much of this genocide, colonization stuff is fear-based. Yep. Yep, and greed. Yeah. So the difference between truth and honesty, I had to look that up in your list because I just wanted to understand what they meant by it, because we're putting these modern words on their native language, right? So truth was more about knowing the truth, knowing to care for the truths, care for the earth, be a good person, take care of each other, that kind of truth. And honesty was more the practice of telling the truth to you, being honest with your people. So truth is more that like soul truth, belief maybe is the word we would use, and honesty is more the act of your words. So trusting your truth, trusting what you know to be true. So love, respect, bravery. I love that that's in there. Because part of it too, Kim, in the battles, right? They were brave. Bravery was a virtue. So we'll fight. But we were out militiaed. Yeah.
Well, and we also, the colonizers, weaponized Christianity in this whole situation.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Which is, I mean,
We even
Big
call them
time.
The Braves.
Yes, the Braves.
I mean, those were the warriors. We're
Perfect.
The Braves.
That's great, Pam. Yes, the Braves. That's right. So knowing your truth, being honest, humility, and
Almost.
wisdom.
The truth is almost like morality,
Yes.
ethical behavior,
Yep.
or
Exactly. Good. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about humility.
Yeah. Humility was usually in reverence, kind of. So humility of the earth, right? I don't own the earth. I am borrowing the earth. Like that kind of humility. Humility of I'm not better than somebody else in the tribe. When they had like tribal meetings and they passed a walking stick, that or a peace pipe, or that was often no one person gets the floor. We share the talking and we share it equally, and we'll sit all day if you want to be verbose, right? Like we're not cutting each other off. There's so many things as I was reading, I was like, we can't do that today, right? I'd love to go to 2 o'clock today. Yeah, I want to hear what y'all have to say. But like, why can't we do that? In our society, we don't get these kinds of just long days of talking with each other. But yes, that would be the humility was no one's more important than anyone else. Yeah.
and that's the opposite of what we're experiencing with Christian nationalism.
Yes,
today.
exactly.
Because that is that way or the highway.
That's right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's right. And I think that that's kind of the intent of this year, is that we all realize there's so many ways. And you know, sometimes I use the phrase, and some people don't like it, but we're all in different hallways headed for the same room where God is, right? We're just coming at it from a different place, but we're all seeking this same thing. We're seeking that same place. We're just coming at it from different hallways, and then we all think our hallway's the best. And that's arrogance, right? To think and to not open our brains of like, what else could I add into this beautiful faith I'm developing? We're all developing our faith. So these are just things to add to it. Just take something each month that kind of resonates with you and see if you can weave it in somewhere to deepen your faith life. So Stephen Charleston, my professor and beautiful human, he has written many things. If you look him up, you'll find his work. He started a publishing company in his, I think, 60s maybe, because no one would publish Native American literature. So he was like, I'll start it. So he's just an amazing human. Here's one of his lines: celebrating what we hope for together is better than fighting over what we believe separately.
Easier said than done.
Exactly, exactly. And then this one, so live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Again, easier said than done. Trouble no one about their religion. Respect others in their view and demand that they respect yours. Love your life. Perfect your life. Beautify all things in your life. Seek to make your life long and its purpose in the service of your people. That kind of summed it all up. So Stephen has some beautiful, beautiful stuff. What do you take out of either one of those quotes? What resonates with you?
I'm super interested in the title of that. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
obviously have to read the book, but the 4 vision
Yes.
quests of Jesus.
Yes.
That's a huge idea.
Yep.
It's so fascinating to potentially, I think, maybe merge
Yep.
this and almost, the traditional
That's been
Christianity.
Stephen's life work has been in that intersection.
So
I know, he's so cool. He's so cool. He has recently stepped out of Facebook, and we don't know why. I hope he's doing okay. But if you find him on Facebook and read his stuff, he has the most beautiful prayers through the years. Through all the things we've gone through in our nation, his prayers always were the most helpful to me. So go back and read his stuff. So I want to hear from you. Yeah. Sue, yes.
The top quote.
Yeah.
The top quote. That should be at the beginning of everybody's Thanksgiving dinner this year.
Oh,
Every family dinner.
Sue, I love that.
I think that would be a good thing.
Oh, Sue, that's perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so in case the video didn't pick it up, Sue suggests that celebrating what we hope for together is better than fighting over what we believe separately should be the opening of everyone's Thanksgiving dinner. I love that. That's
On
perfect.
the invitation.
Yes. Send it to Congress. Exactly. That's beautiful. I love that
I
idea.
feel like a muscle that we really
Yeah.
have to work on is the part in the second quote where it talks about no fear of death can enter your heart, but at the same time, we demand that people respect ours.
Yes.
So those
Yes.
two things are really hard to put together.
That's really good.
That's a muscle you kind of have to work on.
That's a great point, Kim. That's beautiful. Yeah, and you're getting at the reason it's hard is because we have this complicated human brain, right? And our hearts want to do all this, but then we have this amygdala that lives in fear all the time, and this prefrontal cortex that's trying to be rational and logical and make sense of it all. And so we're spiritual beings with a really complicated operating system, and it's hard to override it sometimes. It's hard to override it. That's the practice, is that we keep moving from our heads down to our hearts, and we listen to our souls as much as possible.
And listen to other souls.
And listen to other souls. Beautiful.
That first line of the second, to live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. It's not my fear of death, it's my fear of others' people.
Losing people. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. That's right. And I think, Patty, you're getting at maybe why we try to figure it all out so much, right? Is maybe it is for our people that we want to know where they went and what's happening and are they okay? Yeah.
I don't worry about them being okay, I just,
Miss them. Yeah. You just miss them. That's right. That's right. And that's the price of love. If we're going to love, we're going to miss them. Yeah. And we don't want life without love. Oh, Jennifer.
I was just thinking about love your life, perfect your life, beautify all things in your life. To me, is saying if you have struggle with that, then let's just readjust our focus.
Yes.
Maybe needs to,
Exactly.
blinders maybe need to be wiped.
Oh, that's beautiful, Jennifer. I'm going to say it for the video. If love your life, perfect your life, beautify all things in your life. We're just constantly adjusting that and trying to, how did you say it, Jennifer?
Just adjust our focus.
Yes, change our focus. Come back, reset. Yep. Sometimes I think about that kind of adjustment thing, of cooking. I tasted it needs a little more salt. Okay, add a little more salt. You're always adjusting, right? You're always fluid. So when I make a mistake, I just need to add more salt, right? Or I just need to adjust a little bit. I need to get back on track. So
I'm
yeah.
not gonna do that again.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that again. Exactly. So it is a constant practice. Love your life, perfect your life, beautify all things in your life. We're never going to have a finish line.
Or open your blinders. Maybe
And open your blinders.
not seeing.
Open your blinders because you're not seeing the whole thing. I know, I think we miss the beauty with our blinders on. Yeah, beautiful.
Wasn't that the point of the whole gratitude journal there for a while?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Raising your consciousness. Yep. Exactly. Being conscious and aware. That's right. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it at all. Pam?
The line that says, so live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart.
Yeah.
You know, we've all experienced those deaths, every one of us. And I pull the parallel of death being like the refining fire of
Yeah.
the land.
Yeah.
Because when we have to let go of someone we love,
Mm-hmm.
care about, Susan and I are walking right in there. This
Yeah.
is Suicide Awareness Month.
Yeah.
My son-in-law was killed 3 years ago today.
Oh.
And I've been reflecting on my
Whew.
daughter and her family and the refinement that has happened in their life. So
Yeah.
live your life so that the fear of death can never enter your heart, but the hope that there's just rebirth,
Yeah.
new breath coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what spoke to me.
And that's so beautifully said, Pam. And we don't want the rebirth all the time, right? We want to stay where we were. I don't want to green grass this thing. I don't want to, I don't want to make it better. I don't want it to get better. I want my old life back. Yeah. And yet you're appreciating that something is happening. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard to do. That's a very enlightened stance to get to that point where you are. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, Anna?
I have actually
Anne?
rereading it. I don't think I like Perfect Your Life.
Okay.
I think that does resonate with me because
Okay.
I feel like then I have to make it perfect.
Okay.
And so I think I would take that phrase out and maybe grow
Yeah.
towards,
Yeah.
continuing to grow and nurture
Yes.
your spirit. It's
Yes.
kind of like going towards something
Yes.
versus like making it.
Yes. Yes. And the word perfect and perfect are very different, right? Perfect would be like without a flaw, but perfect is more of a practice. So it's probably the way we each read this.
And I wasn't reading it perfect, but perfect still to me means
Okay.
keep trying to chisel it so it gets perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
So maybe replace it with practice or something like that. Yes,
I like
Laura?
the word curate.
Curate. That's perfect. Curate your life. I love that. Beautiful. Yeah, Anne?
I was just gonna say, when I lose somebody, I try to dwell on the joy of knowing that person and having that person in my life versus I've lost them.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Just to try to
Flip your brain.
flip it around.
That's right. Exactly. Because both are true. Right? Both are true. I love them and I'm grateful for them and I miss them. And the word and is so good for our brain sometimes because we feel like it's either or. Yeah. Both are true at the same time.
And they can coexist.
And they can coexist, and they do. Grief and joy coexist.
I think the closer we get to nature too, the easier it is to reach some of these things like the indigenous did.
Exactly, Kim.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yes.
On that, there is a medicine wheel at the Arboretum.
Good.
And
Yes.
it was laid out by a tribe.
Yes.
And
Okay.
you can go and physically, work through, they have a
That's so
How-
cool.
how-
Yes. Perfect. Yes. And if you Google bighorn medicine wheel, you can get an image on your phone of what that probably looks like. There are rock formation medicine wheels. Yeah. So
you go
that's
stand
beautiful.
in the rocks, but you have to take all your metal
Oh,
off
you do?
before-
Interesting.
Yeah, so don't go with anything.
Okay. Beautiful. So, yeah.
You also have that class coming up, the immersion class, that nature.
Yes. Kenyon, will you tell me when that is?
It's offered 2 times, Wednesday, September 17th from 6 to 7:30. You'll start at Compassion Fix and then you're gonna go out to trails. And it's not a fast walk, it's about just recognizing the sounds and the sights around you. So it's about immersing yourself in nature. The second opportunity is Saturday, October 18th from 9 to 10:30 in the morning. And that's gonna be at Shawnee Mission Park. And all of that is on Compassion Fix's website.
Perfect. Kenyon, awesome. Yes, Terry?
If you missed the first one,
Yep.
will the second
Yes,
one?
it's standalone. Yep.
Either one.
Okay.
Yep, they're standalone. We're just starting the first one at Compassion Fix and going close by, and then the other one's Shawnee Mission. Jill Anderson, who is a friend of Brooks, who is like this amazing spirit and soul that I want everyone to meet. She is She is certified in forest bathing and leading these kinds of experiences, and that's who will be leading us. And so, yes, thank you so much, Kenyon. That's perfect, because you're right, Kim. If we spend more time in nature, this stuff resonates so much more deeply. And that's where God is. Yeah.
My son is a conservation wildlife biologist in New Mexico, and he spends usually 4 out of 5 work days in the field.
Yeah.
And he's the happiest person.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yes. So CompassionFix.com will have more information under classes on that nature immersion stuff. And with that, yes, okay. Thank you all. We have lunch, right, Brooke?
Yeah, first of all, thank you.